Hey friends, Dr. Flight. Hope you're doing well today. All right, we're going to continue to talk a little bit about product brand management this time. When we look at something called product arrays, product mixes, sometimes what we do, mixes and line strategies. So as a component of marketing and of sort of this idea of charting kind of the growth strategy of a firm, a lot of times we focus on growing and manipulating the products that we offer in order to generate more sales. So when we do that, though, we want to be real clear in understanding kind of what our offer is. And so we'll create something called a product array chart, which is a chart. It's a chart that shows all of our products and puts them into sort of a grid type of a format. And so the product array then has two sort of dimensions. It's called a product mix and then a product line. And then we can either add products or delete products, and we can do some strategy associated with all of those. So that's kind of what we're introducing here, and a bunch of strategy involved in product mixes and product lines and all of that. So we're going to, in this video, just talk about the basics of what a product array is, the components of it, and a couple strategies. So just to give you a foundation of what you could think of, and then beyond this video, we could do a whole bunch of other strategy that involves how we choose products and to add, or how we choose products to drop off. Okay, so complete set of the products is something that we might call a product mix. Typically we have different categories, and within each category we have a set of products, and we call that a product line. And so all the products in a product line have something in common, and they are all associated with the category that they're in. Okay, so the best way to do this is just look at a picture and just kind of walk through an example of this. And so here's a kind of a shortened kind of glimpse or an image of Mercedes-Benz's under the name Daimler, their product mix, if you will. And so if you look at the top, you'll see there are cars. Those are Mercedes-Benz cars. And then there's other types of cars called Mercedes-AMG cars. Now, what we might think of this is maybe some are sold in North America, maybe some are sold in Europe. Maybe that defines the two. The difference between Benz and AMG might be something else. It might be some process that's used or something along those lines. My guess is it's probably a set of cars that are sold in one market, and then a different set of cars, AMG, that are sold in a different market. They have another category called smart cars, and then they have a category called vans. Now you'll notice that these are four different categories, and when we talk about this, we talk about the width, like how many there. So there are four categories. There could be more. There could be 5, 6, 7, 8. There could be fewer. And then when we look down and up, we see the different actual cars or products that are in each category. So under Mercedes-Benz, there's a whole bunch of, there's Class A, Class B, CLA, the E-Class, GLA, GLB, and so on and so forth. The AMG product line has very similar products in it, but there's going to be something a little bit different about them because they're in a different product category. Then we go over to smart cars, and those are totally different. There's only 3 options, so they're not very deep in this category. There's a small category for them right now in this image. And they don't really look anything like the other names, at least in the other product categories, because they're their own space. Okay, so this is a product mix, and this is kind of where we think about the basis of some of this strategy. It's a tool that we use. Okay, so as I mentioned, sometimes this is referred to as a product array chart because it's a broader term. And oftentimes the categories that we have at the very top is the product mix, while the depth of the category would be the product line. And those are the terms that we'll think of. Now, again, when we're talking about some strategy that we could use, we could add a category line. In this image, we added a motorcycle to the Mercedes-Benz name. So what if we did this? This would be like a big change. Typically when we change the mix, moving the width or the breadth of this array, stretching it or narrowing it, that's usually a really big decision. So think about adding a motorcycle from Mercedes-Benz. What would they have to do? They'd have to have a new production facility. They'd have to have engineers who could do it. It's a totally different product than a car. So this would be like this would represent a really big change to the company, and it would radically change kind of the offerings in their product line or product array. So whenever we make a product mix change, it's usually a big decision. It's usually a big strategic thing that we do, and it usually costs a lot of money for the company to do it. It's something that's usually done, and the impact of it is felt for literally years when a company adds something like this. Not always, but a lot of times that's the way to think of it. Another thing that we could do, instead of expanding the line, we could contract the line, or expanding the mix, we could contract the mix, which simply means that we're going to drop a category, right? So in this case, we have an example of we're dropping the vans. Now, dropping the vans means that we're going to be able to focus our resources on the other product mix elements, and we're not going to get distracted by the van line anymore. So it's a way to refocus your company, to restructure your costs, and it sometimes helps to contract. So you can grow and you can shrink strategically. Same with the depth of the line. So we can say, okay, well, look, we can add new products within a category. So in this case, we have the RLF class, which is a new class of car. By extending the line downward, we're stretching the line. That's actually a type of strategy. So we can do a stretch, and we can kind of go from there. Okay, so that's a stretch. And then the other thing, of course, we can do, as you can imagine, is we can shorten the line. Again, this is another contraction, concept. If we see some of our products aren't really selling well within a line, maybe we've diluted the line too much. Maybe we have too many products. Again, the benefits here is we save costs and we are able to focus better. But then it's also an idea where we can have the customers focus just on a fewer number of our products too. So there's some benefits to doing this. It's not always seen as a negative necessarily, to be more strategic. But if you overbuild, sometimes you have to pull back and drop a few product options to be more profitable, quite frankly, right? Because your costs go down. Okay, another way to show this is just another image of a kind of a bigger chart and more of a graphic, where we have in product line A, for instance, we're adding a product, so we're adding depth. That's a line extension. In product line B, it looks like it's vitamin water. There's a drop here. So sometimes we see this, like in beverages, you might have like lots of different flavors of beverage, and it might just get out of hand. It might get out of control, or it might be that one flavor doesn't perform well, and so we just drop it. We contract the line because it's not a good selling product, and so we get rid of it. And so instead of having 10 flavors of this product, we have 8 flavors of this product, right? That's done all the time. We see that a lot. Okay. Another product line C is one, maybe that's an existing product line. So this is a category that we decide to take out. And this is a protein bar. So this company is lots of different consumer non-durables, packaged goods here. This is food items. They're going to get out of the protein bar space. So they drop that entire line, all those products. Instead, though, maybe product line D, they decide to add yogurt. Maybe this yogurt line is now going to replace their protein bar line. So they've added a whole new category, and they have 4 products in it. Okay, so this is this is kind of this start of this chart. We can do more strategy. You've seen 4 here though, both associated with contracting or adding either in the mix or in the line itself. Okay, so what's the difference between a product line breadth and product line depth? So we've got breadth and we've got depth. So know the difference between those two. Mix is associated with breadth or width, and lines are associated with depth. Okay, why change product mix or breadth? Why change product line depth? So there are reasons why we want to do those, make those changes, and want to think about what those would mean. Okay, all right, so this is it. That's all we're going to talk about here in this short video. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to let me know. Thanks.